Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're specifically going to talk about the golden path to peak Dungeons & Dragons. So you're out there, you're like me, you're trying to run Dungeons & Dragons, you're struggling, it's difficult, and you want to know how to make the best possible experience at the table for you and the players who have gifted you their time, right? You want to make Dungeons & Dragons as good as you can possibly make it. That totally makes sense. I get that, right? So let's talk about making that happen and accomplishing that, okay? And so I just want to encourage you, if you're having a hard time running Dungeons & Dragons, it is because we are in late stage capitalism. A lot of people have a lot of money. They have a lot of options. There's incredible entertainment being made, and it's not your fault. It's just, it right now is the most difficult time to run Dungeons & Dragons in the history of Dungeons & Dragons, okay? So if you're having a hard time running Dungeons & Dragons, it's not on you. So how can you run how can you run the best possible game of Dungeons & Dragons that you possibly can? Well, first and foremost, the rule of one, all right? So what is a Dungeons & Dragons game? All right, so here you go. It is any game from 1 to 6, okay? Now, you're like, wait a second, 1 to 6 players, 1 to 6 players, and I call Dungeons & Dragons players Dungeon Masters. So, wait, Scott, are you saying that D&D solo, a Dungeon Master running D&D all by himself, is not Dungeons & Dragons? Yes, that's what I'm saying. D&D solo is not a thing, does not exist. It is certainly not Dungeons & Dragons. If somebody's running D&D solo, they're just writing a story. They should be writing a novel. D&D solo is pathetic. You don't want to ever pack it up. Your days of even having any ability of being cool or fresh or innovative are done. It's a very bad, if you find yourself running D&D solo, you are in a very, very bad space, okay? All right, next. D&D with 7 or more players. This is really out there. I know this is extreme. I don't think, you know what? I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. Because it causes problems on other areas. If you are running Dungeons & Dragons, you should be running for 1 to 6 players. 1 to 6 Dragon Masters. That is the optimum space. But the super optimum space is 1. The biggest problem you will have when you go to run Dungeons & Dragons is scheduling. Scheduling is abominable. It is extremely difficult to do, and you end up having to jump through a massive amount of hurdles, okay? And what you can do is you can go to one Dungeon Master, 1 player, and I've had a lot of success with this. And the reason why, and I've started to switch many of my games over to this platform. And the reason why is you can iterate more, and that 1 player gets an incredible experience. Like, you want to speed up Dungeons & Dragons? See how fast it runs when you have 1 player at the table. It's incredible. It is really great. So this is a great option. It will massively reduce, instantly get rid of many problems with Dungeons & Dragons. It gets rid of scheduling. It is infinitely easier to schedule a game with 1 player than it is with 5, right? The other thing is, everybody's like, D&D combat runs slow. Not when you have 1 player. Like, it runs very, very quickly when you have 1 player, right? The other thing is, hey, I want to make sure that every person at the table is doing something unique and special. A lot of times Dungeon Masters fail at that. You ain't going to fail if you got 1 player. They're going to have plenty of time to find that spotlight. This solves an immense amount of problems and instantly elevates your Dungeons & Dragons table. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing and have a fetch millennium.